Well, you're still here. Thank you so much for joining me on this fourth episode. If you're following us on the email, it's your fourth day of receiving the emails. If you're just listening to all these podcasts in one sitting, binging on them, that's also great. This is your fourth episode. I'd love to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be pouring into your life and encouraging you. Today we are speaking about the gift that feels like too much. Yeah, that's a statement some of us may have had before. Think about it for a moment. That is somebody who doesn't understand you, and that's okay. Once we begin to understand ourselves, we will also begin to understand others, and that's great. So it's day 4 of our reflections, or the 4th episode, and I hope you're feeling much more positive by now, and you're curious about today's reflection. Let's just dive in. Let's talk about what no one tells gifted women. Sometimes your gift feels mislabeled. You're told, you're too passionate, you're too intense, you're too sensitive, you're too emotional, or you care too much. And other statements that you have been labeled because of the giftedness that is showing up in you, even when you don't know it. You do things in a certain way consistently, and people are telling you this or that. It's because they don't understand and they don't recognize it. And if you yourself don't recognize it, you might take these statements very seriously, and slowly you begin to start to shrink. You silence the part of you that burns bright because other people feel uncomfortable. Wow. But what if that intensity is not a flaw? What if being too emotional is not a flaw? What if caring too much is not a flaw? Yeah? 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 14, part of it reads, "Do not neglect your gift. This is a gift from the Lord that you have received. He has placed in you from birth. You shouldn't be neglecting it. You should embrace it and say, yes, this is me. God created me in this way, and I am proud of it. I am proud of it. I'm delighted to be like this." I must admit I was the same a lot of times. People tell me, "Oh, you're taking too long in doing this." I like to do my research. I like to take my time in making decisions. "Oh, you're taking too long. Can you decide right now? When are you going to decide?" Until I underwent a coaching and I began to understand that people are created very different. Others are quick to make a decision, and they can, and that is good. And sometimes you're in situations where you're called to make a quick decisions, but sometimes your personality just shows up and wants to be the one that is shining, and your personality is screaming, "No, I don't want to be put under pressure. This is not my style." And if you do not recognize that, you will take what people say and start to shut down and put down your gifting, and that is not right. God did not make you the way He made you by accident. He took time to knit you. People who knit, you take the knitting needles, you take the thread. It's a process. It's a process, a creative craft. He knit you in your mother's womb. All the days of your life were ordained before. Yeah? And God is the one who wired you with that kind of depth, with that kind of desire to fix, to lead, to comfort in a way that others might not get. He is the one who did that. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's wrong at all. It means that it is yours to embrace. It is yours to take back to the Father and ask Him, "How do you want me to use this? How do you want me to use this?" I'll tell you a brief story. When I was discovering myself again, I was not yet 40 by then. That reveals my age. But I was starting to rediscover myself because I think I've just gone through life through the motions. Go to work, come back home, do whatever needs to be done, go to church on Sunday. You're okay. But like I said in the first episode, I was feeling a nudge in my heart, a nudge that was saying, there is more. And I began to go back and discover myself. I went through a process of trying to remember the things I used to love when I was a child. And I remember I used to love reading. I loved reading. I would read all the books that my father bought, very quickly finishing them up, and pick at the next book. If you had a book, I'd borrow it, I'd read it in very short time. So I enjoyed reading, but at some point along the way, I don't know, maybe life happened and I stopped reading. I thought I don't have time. I was, of course, on social media and doing other things, that watching TV for endless hours, not doing the things I really love. And yet, deep down in my heart, I knew I loved to read. I longed to get back to reading. So one author of a book I read was saying, you know what, take back that gift to God and ask Him how He wants to use it. And I made that prayer, and I was very confused at that time. I was like, God, I'm the one who reads. And He said that the gift that God has placed in you is for you to serve others. Yeah? It's not for you to keep for yourself. And there are verses in the Bible to support that. We'll find them maybe in another episode. But your gifts and everything and talents and abilities and your giftedness, all these things together, even your difficult season, they are for you to serve others. And so I asked God, how in the world do you use me reading a book to serve others? So that year, after I made that prayer, I suddenly found time to read. The desire to read came back. I read quite a number of books. And subconsciously, I was keeping a list of the books I'm reading. I don't know why I was putting, but I just kept writing. And at the end of the year, I discovered as I was writing book number 50-something or 60-something, I can't remember now anymore, I realized, oh my goodness, I'm writing number 60 or 50. That means I've read all this book this year. And I was so amazed. I was like, wow, that's what happens when you turn over a gift back to God, exactly the way He created you. And so I asked the Lord, then, how in the world does me reading help people? Then when looking back in my interactions with many, many women, I found that many of them were asking me questions relating to the materials I had read. Would you know? And at first I used to share with them the books. I tell them, you need to read this book, you need to read that book. And many of them never read those books. Guess what? They did not have the reading desire like I did. A few did. We loved it. We talked about the books, but majority did not even open those books, or they started and never finished. But then I discovered that when I spoke to them about the material I had read and shared, they were more than delighted and happy to hear those stories and hear those examples of what I was sharing them. And that was the solution to their problems. Voila! God was using my gift of reading to lead me to the right resources and to share with others who needed those resources at the right time. And that is what God can do for you, my sister. It is exactly what He can do for you. So do not neglect your gift. Don't let others tell you cannot do this, cannot do that. Don't make that thing that God has created you to be feel like a burden. Let it become a blessing. If you have been told to eat your too much or these other statements and you are ready to go into that deep dive session with me, book a session with me. The links are there in the show notes. Book a deep dive session. Come, let us talk. Let us go through your stories through a structured program. At the end of it, let's come up with a statement. And I keep praying for you, and I keep praying for the people I work with, that God will begin to unravel something beautiful. This is just the beginning of something beautiful. I tell you, you will be amazed at what God has been able to do in the lives of people I have talked to, and those we have been able to uncover their giftedness. It's amazing, always amazing. And I'm always in awe because I get to walk with women like you. We get to go through your stories, your amazing stories. By the way, the stories are always amazing. Sometimes someone tells me a story and says, this is not a big story, but we discover, actually, it is a big story. It is a part of your great story. So I welcome you to join me in a deep dive session. We spend some time with you, 3 hours in a live session, 3-hour virtual session. We go through your stories and you go home with a statement that describes you. You take it back to the Lord and begin a beautiful journey with the Lord on walking confidently in your giftedness. If you are already walking confidently in your giftedness, wow, congratulations. Encourage other women in your circle to do the same thing, to share with them your journey, and we will be blessed together. Coming up next, we will begin to discover, we are not exploring this in depth, but we'll begin to discover what happens when you don't take action on our gifts, because we cannot afford not to. We have to take action on our gifts. And disobedience actually keeps us stuck. I say that with a lot of love. Don't stone me or don't look at me badly, but I encourage you to take that step, take that action, and take an action on discovering your gift today and walk with it in confidence and clarity. Until next time, I'm your giftedness coach, Naomi. See you.